So the main character and the judge of the embroidered uniform, and the judge of the embroidered uniform used to work underneath his adopted father, the main character's adopted father. So he's totally on the main character's side and intent and will do anything to help the main character, especially when his old boss has been kidnapped and missing. He's going to do everything to look for this person. Well, they have tried and they cannot find either man. So they ask Flourishing if Flourishing can do now. And the Flourishing is actually on the chief commanders of the barreled uniforms tent. Like, he's totally on this dude's side. So he doesn't really care for the main character and the judge of the embroidered uniform. But he takes the job when the main character's like, Green Hills is needing a inspector for his thing. He needs an inspector from the embroidered uniform, and if you do a good job finding my father and master, you might be able to be the person to take the position. So he takes the job. He's like, yeah, I'll take the job. But looking into it, they find out that the person who most likely kidnapped the main character's adopted father and master was the assistant minister of judicial reviews. And the dude's like, you know what, I'm kind of backing out. I'm backing out of it. But when having a conversation with the chief commander of the embroidered uniform, Flourishing realizes that this dude is probably involved, or kind of starts, suspecting the chief commander of the embroidered uniform. And it seems to be the reason why the assistant minister of judicial reviews kidnapped the main character's master and adopted father was so the master would come to his side, and even tries to pursue the guy against the main character. And he's like, yeah, no, I don't like the way you act or behave. I don't trust you as far as I can throw you. No. The male lead discovers something, and he informs the main character of his discovery is that the assistant minister of judicial reviews had taken in a bunch of boys and girls from the brothel that had collapsed, had taken all of them in under his wing. He also discovers that he's teaching the boys and girls, like he's teaching the boys politics and the essays of today's economy, like situations that are happening, affairs that are happening. He's teaching all of them this. And the girls, he's teaching them all the 4 points of arts, like art, music, literature, poetry. Like, he's teaching them all the 4 arts. And they're starting to get really suspicious of this. And the main character realizes that the joke he made to the Secretary of Bureau of Evolution about there being an actual child out there is probably true. And one of the children that the assistant minister of judicial reviews took from the brothel, they range from 14 to 18, must be that heir. That must be an imperial child. Which, honestly, I'm sitting there going, would anyone take a child from a brothel as the emperor or empress? Like, I get it, but at the same time, like, they kind of look down on the emperor on the throne for his backing. They look way more down in a child that came from a brothel and was raised in a brothel and was working in a brothel for 14 to 18 years. Like, what? Does he think this will actually work? The child he put on the throne that came from our brothel will actually work? I guess he thinks it does, but and so the Melly's like, we can't let any of them live. It doesn't matter who it is. We can't let any of them live if this is true, because even if they aren't an actual heir, he can state they are. He can state, and people will be like, oh, you're right. Like, oh my God, this is a mess. The Melly's brother, he's badly injured. At first, he was poisoned by bad food, and then he was injured in battle in his fight. So he has to be pushed off the battlefield, which is not good because, again, the main lead can't rush to save his brother because, again, the male lead is there as a hostage. If he wants to return, he will cause friction and issues and problems in court because, again, he's a hostage, and the only person who can replace him is his sister-in-law and nephew. But again, no one's going to take them as a severe hostage when a powerful foe like the Malid is out in battlefield, because again, they do not trust their most powerful military force. They fear that this military force will go against them and try to fight to take over the throne. And so the Melly does nothing. He just stays quiet because he knows this will cause more severe issues for him and problems for him. And he knows the Grand Secretary will do everything in his grasp to keep the Melly there. He knows that. He will keep him there. Even if it means screwing over the Melid's clan and the Melid's frontier. Lucky his father takes the position and goes back into the battlefield even though he is very old. He shouldn't be out in the battlefield. But he goes instead. And the Grand Secretary sends a eunuch instead of sending someone of a noble family to take over the position because he thinks those are fools. He knows that he cannot send a fool out to battle, a lazy, candid fool. He will screw them over if he does. So he sends a wise eunuch that's been by the, imperial side to help the Melid's father instead of sending the Melid. Because again, he fears that the Melid's hatred for what was done to his family and forcing to be a hostage will come back to screw them over. He fears that. I am not kidding. This is a whole mess. So how did his brother get poisoned or ate bad food? Is because the provisions, their military provisions, were all moldy and nasty, gone bad food. They've been provided terrible, vile food. The military force that is protecting their frontier has been provided terrible provisions. And this is just now being brought up to the emperor. And the emperor, and no surprise, the Melid, are both furious. And obviously the person who's supposed to be keeping an eye on this is the Ministry of Reviews, and obviously kind of looking into it. The Ministry of Review has been squandering the military provisions for himself, basically selling it for himself, providing it to himself, or selling it for benefits for himself. Obviously, the Melid wants a instigation done on him. He's like, yeah, we need an instigation done on him. No ifs, no buts. It needs to be done. And the emperor's like, yes. Who should we assign to instigate it? And it's the main character. The main character's assigned to instigate the dude. And the main character, the Melid has to put on an act that he's so against it. And the Grand Secretary believes that he tells and orders it to be done.